go to a place that was named for a German fairy tale in which geese wear pants. It's a 2-foot gauge line in Pennsylvania that all started with a European connection.
When you first hear it chugging along the track, your anticipation builds as the approaching locomotive bursts into view. A 5-ton steam-powered shea in all its glory.
It didn't look anything like it looks now. Took us 10 years to rebuild it. Tore it apart, changed the boiler, changed the cab, changed everything. It's typical of the locomotives that were used in the lumber industry. If you notice, it has a vertical steam engine on it and a line shaft with ring and pinion gears. This allowed it to climb steep grades, go around sharp curves.
This relic of a bygone era is enjoyed by modern-day visitors because the Bauer family painstakingly rebuilt and restored it, and also devoted years to creating the Bucksgahuda and Western Railroad Museum. Located in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania, this 2-foot gauge railroad museum preserves and operates industrial railroad equipment. But the shea isn't their only steam locomotive. To get the whole picture, we go back to the beginning and meet Otto, who came all the way from Europe.
Otto is an engine locomotive that we bought in 1966 for $2,999.
The people who owned it wanted it preserved and worked to make sure it got out of Germany before it was scrapped.
We brought it to the United States on the deck of a ship, went down to Philadelphia and picked it up, brought it here to St. Mary's, set it on a piece of track, and built an engine house around it.
I started taking it apart, all the running gear come off, and we had to be careful and mark where it was, and we had some pictures so we could put it back together. We took one side off at a time, took the rods off, side rods off, be sure that the bearings were okay and everything was clean, and then we put it back together the same way. And then we had it painted and everything else, and then we started to extend our track.
And so one thing has led to another. We have about 1.75 miles of track. We have 2 steam locomotives, 2 diesels, 2 gasoline engines. And so in the beginning there was Otto, and it all started back in 1966.
Watch for deer.
Today, the Bauer brothers are joined on the railroad by their children. Mary Pat is a hostler for the Bucksgahuda and Western.
Hostling is what you do when you fire up the steam engines and maintain them and get the fire going and take the engine up to pressure so that it can run.
All right.
Both of my daughters and my nieces and nephews, they all enjoy coming out here and working, and as they grow older, they are able to help us maintain and add on to our railroad.
Most people today wouldn't know how a steam engine runs, and we have some 10-year-olds here that have run a steam engine. The knowledge that's passed from the people that are here to the different generations is just amazing.
Otto has acquired some American-made friends through the years. There's Norman, named for his cantankerous behavior, who was built in 1924. Speeder, a 1-lung gasoline engine powered by a belt. To change directions, the engine has to be stopped and cranked in reverse. Joe, built in 1965, came out of a dynamite factory. And Henry, a 10-ton diesel hydraulic locomotive, is every bit as powerful as Otto. Naming the locomotives celebrated each one's unique character. And speaking of uniqueness, what's the origin of the railroad named Bucksgahuda and Western?
When we were growing up, we'd go out to our grandmother's house and we'd ask an aunt or an uncle, "Where are you going today, Uncle Jim?" And he'd say, "I'm going to Bucksgahuda with the geese wear pants." And to us, that was kind of a Shangri-La, someplace special. The Western came from when we first set the first steam engine down. It was facing west. So we have the Bucksgahuda and Western Railroad.
Carrying on this proud family tradition brings out special feelings in those preserving this important part of our nation's heritage.
The railroad is a chance to participate and be involved with my family. It's a chance to preserve history to bring the joy of railroading to other people is something that I really am pleased to be able to do.
It's a nice feeling. It's a comfort feeling that all this will be continued down as a family tradition.